we talk a lot about marketers having to become much more effective at talking the language of finance. It's absolutely true. Not debating that. But the bigger problem, and it is a much bigger problem, is that CFOs are largely ignorant of the contribution of marketing to value creation.
Mm.
And they're managing it for efficiency. And it is literally, it is constraining the growth prospects of the companies that they work for. And we're starting to see Wall Street analysts pick up on this, and they're starting to query CEOs much more on their marketing investments and spend. And so we're seeing CEOs say the right things on earnings calls. But when you look at the actual allocation of resources in terms of building the brand versus running, Google ads, it's all going into Google ads. So there's no long-term value being created there.
Mm. I think it's also, as you were talking, you reminded me of a story from my childhood. I mean, the beer brands in South Africa, we grew up, we had, all the sort of sanctions globally. So all of the brands we had were like locally grown brands.
Yeah.
And there wasn't an infinite market. So we didn't have many brands, but people, the brands all built these like deep, long emotional connections with the consumers that were buying them. I can remember arriving at a family friend's house, and my father went into, everyone, all the men had bars in the 80s. That was like your symbol of middle class success, as you had a bar in your rec room. So he went to the bar, looked in the fridge, and there was none of his brand of beer. So he went outside, he got in his car, and he drove home to go and get his beer. He was so loyal to that product that he refused to drink even a free competitor's product. And now the brand marketing is so tactical, as in this is an interesting new mechanic, or something fun. There's a thing on the package that shines blue. There's this, it's extra cold. All of these, like, I don't know, sort of quite surface level, very light, entertaining pieces. And you can see it in how the market share shifts in the markets now. The Heineken's up, then it's down, then the sort of consumers are just flittering around these different brands, picking them up, and nobody has this deep care anymore. So I think as you deprecate that investment and you cut that thing and you start losing that piece, like you said with Nike, it takes a long time to build it back up again, because it's not a let's just go out there and do one quick campaign with an agency and we'll be back where we are. Like, once people move on, it's much harder to get them back than it is to sort of maintain that relationship with them and double down into it.
Yeah, with Nike, I think that the biggest thing they're going to have a huge challenge in dealing with is that they pulled their shoes out of the wholesale channels. So you could no longer find them at retail. They were now trying to exclusively sell through their own DTC website. Trying to get those shoes back on those shelves after having basically screwed over those wholesalers is not going to happen anytime soon. And in the meantime, that's why Hoka and On Cloud are gaining huge share relative to where they started. And it's not because any marketing excellence per se. It's because when Nike pulled out of retail stores, there were gaps on the wall, and those retail stores had to fill those gaps. And so those brands they just got a huge distribution lift. What are you going to do? The only way I think Nike gets back on those shelves is if they pay for the privilege. And so again, that's going to come through in reduced financial performance in that business for years in order to just get them back to where they already were. It's a huge error of ego.